Opposition to British rule in Karnataka and Wodeyars of Mysore. The present Karnataka was scattered among various principalities before integration. Apart from establishing political supremacy during the later part of 18th century, the British exploited the people in agriculture and trade in order to protect their own interests. These exploitations created insecurities across Karnataka. The local kings suffered insecurities. As a result, rebellions against the British broke out in most parts of the Karnataka. In the beginning, the zamindars and kings battled against the British individually without attaining unity among them. Wodeyars of Mysore, 1399 to 1947, after the fall of Vijayanagar Empire, its traditions and the lost glory was revived and continued by the Wodeyars of Mysore. Hadinadu or Palyapattu near Mysore town was ruled by Chamraja, a feudatory of Srirangapatna Mandalika. He died without any sons, and the Dalvoy Marnaika of Karugali administered it and demanded the princes in marriage to him. Nobody agreed for it. At this time Yadurya with his brother Kroshnaraya from Dwarka of Gujarat came to Mysore. Voluntarily he came to help the Maharani and killed Marnaika. This pleased the Maharani, who gave her daughter in marriage to him. Thus the Wodeyar dynasty was started. This dynasty was ruled by 25 Wodeyars starting from Yadurya to Jet Raja Wodeyar. Let us understand some of the important Wodeyars. Raja Wodeyar, 1578 to 1617. The credit of expanding the small Palyapattu into a large Mysore goes to him. Srirangapatna was captured from the representative of Vijayanagar and made it as his capital. Further, the surrounding areas were occupied and expanded his kingdom. He revived the temples of Srirangapatna, Mysore and Melukote Rajamudi. The crown was offered to Lord Cheluvnarayana Swami. He started the Navratri festival in Mysore. Chikkadevaraja Wodeyar, 1673 to 1704. He was an efficient soldier and administrator. He checked the invasion of Shivaji at Madurai, Ikkeri and Bijapur. He captured Magadi, Madhugiri, Kortagere and other places. He purchased Bangalore from the Mughal military general. He had the titles like Karnataka Kavichakravarti, Aprathima Veera, Thek Naraza and Navkoti Narayana. He started the Council of Ministers, Athra Kacheri, to help in administration. The postal system came into being during his time. A dam was constructed across river Kaveri, and Chikka Devaraja and Doda Devaraja canal were also constructed for irrigation. He had patronized many poets like Thirularya, Sachi Honnamma and so on. Hyder Ali and Tippu Sultan in the 18th century Indian history is considered as a century of political problems. There are many reasons for this. The death of Aurangzeb, the Mughal emperor in 1707 was the main reason. His death weakened the Mughal Empire. As a result, the Mughal lost political control over South India. A lot of political struggles took place in Carnatic region. Before this, the death of Chikkadevraj Wodeyar in 1704 created various political challenges in Mysore state. His death created the problems of succession and administration. All these developments clouded the politics of Mysore. Hyder Ali gained prominence in this scenario of uncertainty that clouded over the Mysore and Carnatic region. Hyder Ali soon became popular in using arms and experiments. He undertook the invasion of the forces by active military operations and suppressed Dalvois. He imprisoned Krishna Raja Wodeyar too and kept him under house arrest and took over the power. He became famous as Nawab Hyder Ali in a short time. This situation was timely utilized by both the French and the English for their political power. Anglo-Mysore Wars, 1767 to 1799, First Anglo-Mysore War. This was started in 1767 and ended in 1769. The Hyder Ali prominence gained by Hyder Ali in the south was not tolerated by the British, Marathas and the Nizam of Hyderabad. Hence, the British started devising cunning plans to defeat Hyder Ali, whom they saw as an impediment for the expansionist ideas. Though Hyder Ali suffered political and financial loss due to the Maratha aggression, he made attempts to have Marathas and Nizam of Hyderabad on his sides with little success. The British entered into an agreement with the Marathas and the Nizam of Hyderabad against Hyder Ali. A tripartite alliance emerged. But Hyder Ali, with manipulative ideas, was successful in breaking the alliance. He also created enmity and distrust among the Marathas, the Nizam of Hyderabad, and the British. Meanwhile, political disturbances emerged in a court. In 1767, Hyder Ali and the Nizam of Hyderabad attacked Akot. But the king of Akot had an alliance with the British. The war started with this incident. The battles took place in Tiruchanpally, Thiruvannamalai, Ambur, and other places. Hyder Ali organized lightning attacks in these battles. The British military captured a few places. Hyder Ali suffered few setbacks. The British military from Bombay joined the war. Hyder Ali considered the war as a challenge to his personal power and continued with the war. His army reached Madras by 1769 and created panic among the British. Inevitably, the British entered an agreement with Hyder Ali through the Madras Treaty. The First Anglo-Mysore War ended with the signing of the Madras Treaty in 1769. Second Anglo-Mysore War, 1780 to 1784, the Madras Treaty had put the political developments in South India on a temporary hold. The British attempted to break the Madras Treaty. When Madhva Rao attacked Srirangapatna with the Maratha army, Hyder Ali expected the British to support him as per the Madras Treaty. But the British rejected the request of Hyder Ali and went against the Madras Treaty. Mahe, the French colony, was under the hold of Hyder Ali. The British attacked Mahe and captured it. This became the reason for Second Anglo-Mysore War. The Second Anglo-Mysore War was started in 1780. In the beginning, Hyder Ali gained upper hand. He captured many forts of the Carnatic region. Kachipuram was captured by Hyder Ali. The Mysore army reached till Coromandel Beach. The British officers became worried. Hyder Ali attacked Akot and captured it. He also threatened to attack Vandivash and Vellore. An army was kept in standby by the British and it was led by Sir Ayakut. He followed Hyder Ali's army till Pondicherry. The French refused to support Hyder Ali against the British. Hyder Ali changed his war strategy with this development. He attacked regions under British control and captured a large booty of arms and wealth. In 1781, Hyder Ali was defeated in a battle held in Porto Nova by the British. This increased the confidence of the British and also changed the direction of the battle. But they suffered financial setbacks in Pulicat and Solingur. Meanwhile, by entering into the Salbai Agreement, the British were successful in winning over the Marathas and the Nizam of Hyderabad to their side. Hyder Ali died due to illness during the war in 1782. The war was led by his son Tippu Sultan. Tippu Sultan was waging war in Malabar region when Hyder Ali died. The British tried to take advantage of Hyder Ali's death by invading Mangalore and Bidnoor. They also tried to instigate the rulers of Calicut and Malabar regions against Tippu Sultan. Tippu Sultan thought of all these developments and decided to protect Mangalore and the coastal regions. He defeated the British. The Treaty of Mangalore ended the Second Anglo-Mysore War in 1784. Tippu Sultan felt that the British were the major obstacle for his policy of expansion, so he tried to drive them out seriously. He became the ruler of Mysore after Hyder Ali's death. He understood the cunning policies of the British. He considered it as his duty to drive the British out of India. He waged war against the British throughout his 17 years of rule. He had clearly understood the cunningness, strategies, clever manipulations of the British. He knew that hurting the business interest of the British would weaken the political strength of the British. He tried to organize the enemies of the British into one group. He tried to break the monopoly of the British over trade with India. These attempts further angered the British and their enmity with Tippu Sultan grew up. You know this, among all the attempts done during 18th century to stop the British, the efforts of Hyder Ali and Tippu Sultan stand out due to many aspects. They knew that they could not defeat the British with their traditional arms. Hence, they modernized their army. The soldiers of Mysore army were capable of using modern weapons and do drills like the European armies. Hyder Ali and Tippu Sultan used missiles during the war for the first time in India. Apart from modern weapons, both of them knew that they needed funds in their treasury for the battles. Hyder Ali had witnessed many Nawabs going bankrupt while waging war against the British. So, both of them took measures to strengthen their economic system by entering into various agreements and trade pacts. They nationalized tobacco and sandalwood. They invited French experts to improve the quality of traditional artifacts of Mysore in order to gain better market share at international markets. Third Anglo-Mysore War. The political situation of Travancore was the main reason for this war. The King of Travancore built a fort in Kochi with the help of the British and captured Ayakota and Kangnur forts from the Dutch. All these were the clear breach of Mangalore Treaty. The British captured Karwar, Komto, Dindugul and other regions under the leadership of General Meadows. Tippu Sultan entered the region of Barmahal and captured Satyamangalam. He later attempted to capture Tiruchanpally but failed in his attempt. Meanwhile, Lord Cornwallis took over the leadership of the British Army and this changed the course of the war. The British Army captured Kolar and Hoskote and rushed towards Bangalore under the leadership of Lord Cornwallis. The army captured Bangalore and destroyed the fort. After capturing Bangalore, Lord Cornwallis sought the help of Marathas and Nizam of Hyderabad to defeat Tippu Sultan. The war took another conclusive turn with the joining of the Marathas and Hyderabad forces with the British. The Marathas captured Savnur, Gajendragarh, Lakshmeshwara, Hubballi and other places. The combined army marched towards Srirangapatna by capturing fort after fort in 1792. The fort was destroyed during night. Disturbed by these developments, Tippu Sultan tried to enter into an agreement with the British. It was inevitable for him. He signed the Treaty of Srirangapatna in 1792 which had unfavorable conditions. With this Third Anglo-Mysore War came to an end. The British were successful in inserting unfavorable conditions in order to weaken Tippu Sultan. Tippu was forced to part with half of his kingdom, was forced to pay 3 crore rupees as war damage fee and had to pledge 2 of his sons as a guarantee against the payment. He was also forced to release the prisoners of war. The British withdrew the combined army from Srirangapatnam. Fourth Anglo-Mysore War. Tippu Sultan took the defeat in the Third Anglo-Mysore War personally. He paid off all the dues and got his children released. He also gave away the territory to the British and its allies as agreed. He claimed his right over the Malabar regions under the British occupation. But the British refused this argument. Lord Wellesley became the Governor-General of India in 1798. The political activities against Tippu Sultan became intensified during this period. Tippu's attempt to form an alliance of local rulers and his closeness with the French angered Lord Wellesley further. Tippu sent an ambassador to France to seek the alliance of the French. This enraged the British. They thought that an alliance between France and Tippu Sultan would threaten the existence of British in India. Another treaty, subsidiary alliance containing inhuman and impractical conditions, was forced upon Tippu Sultan. Tippu rejected this. His refusal started the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War. The war started in 1799. The British were able to destroy the strong fort. Tippu died while fighting the British in 1799. With the death of Tippu Sultan, the British were happy as if the whole India came under their rule. Most of the territories under Tippu's rule was shared among the British, the Marathas and the Nizam of Hyderabad. A small territory was handed over to the royal representative of Mysore Wodeyars. This region came to be known as Mysore Princely State. Chamarajendra Wodeyar X, 1881 to 1894. As per the promise made by the British, the Mysore throne was handed over to Chamarajendra X in 1881. The commissioner's rule came to an end and a British resident was appointed. Along with this C. Rangacharlu was appointed as Dewan. He was an efficient administrator and liberal-minded. He established the Mysore Representative Assembly. Gold mines in Kolar in 1881, Bangalore-Mysore railway line in 1882 were also started. After the death of Rangacharlu in 1883, K. Sheshadri Iyer became Dewan. As he had a vast experience of having worked in different positions, he could understand the problems. He improved the financial position of the state. He was responsible for many new railway lines. In order to select the talented youngsters for various administrative positions, he started the Mysore Civil Services examinations. He gave more importance to irrigation. Special importance to girls' education was given by establishing Maharani's Girls' High School. Chamarajendra Vodiyar gave shelter to Vivekananda when he came to Mysore and also helped him to participate in the Parliament of World Religion at Chicago. As he had a love towards Kannada and Sanskrit, he patronized many scholars. Basappa Shastri was important among them, who had written many books and was known as Abhinava Kalidasa and has composed the state anthem of Mysore, Kayo Shri Govri. Krishnaraja Vodiyar IV, 1894 to 1940. The Queen Regent Vanivilsa Sannidhana Kempa Nanjammanni looked after the administration. She was helped by the Devans and the Advisory Council which led for developmental works. Reforms in gold mines, establishment of colleges, construction of Marikanive Reservoir, railways, hospitals and hydro-electric project across Kovri at Shivnasmudra were started. Electricity was supplied to Kolar gold mines and to Bangalore. The first city to be electrified in India was Bangalore. Krishnaraja Vodiyar assumed power in 1902. He was lucky to have the illuminary services of the Devans like P.N. Krishnamurthy, V.P. Madhva Rao, Sir M. Vishweshwarya, Kantharaja Ors, Sir Albion Banerjee, Sir Mirza Ismail and others. He was very much interested in spreading education among his people. He abolished fees in all primary schools to develop primary education. He helped girls' education. He started the University of Mysore and also started scholarship to the students continuing education in foreign countries. In 1905, the Indian Institute of Science was established at Bangalore with the help of Tata. Special attention was given to the development of irrigation. A barrage was constructed across Kaveri near Belgola. New railway lines were laid. Many small and large-scale industries were started. Among them the iron and steel factory, cement factory, paper mills at Bhadravati, sugar factory at Mandya, sandal oil factory at Mysore, soap factory at Bangalore, chemical and fertilizers factory at Belgola and so on. Legislative Council was formed which was a great step in the legislative measures. Krishnaraja Vodiyar was a simple, natured and efficient administrator. He had a lot of interest towards fine arts and encouraged musicians like Shyama Sastri, M. Hiriyana, Veena Sheshana, Sambayya, Bidram Krishnappa, Muttaya Bhagavatar, Vasudevacharya, T. Chaudhaya and others. Mysore became a model state due to his administration. Mahatma Gandhiji called him as Rajashri. Jayachandra Vodiyar, 1940 to 1950, he came to throne after the death of Krishnaraja Vodiyar. He had his education in general and special colleges. He toured the world and got good knowledge. He had the services of Dewan Mirza Ismail, Nyapti Madhva Rao and Akot Ramaswamy Mudaliar. He was a great scholar, musicologist, orator and a great patron of literature and fine arts. He had written number of books and also composed many devotional songs. He became the governor of Mysore after India became independent. Dondia Wagh, 1800, many rebellions and protests against the British took place in Karnataka after the death of Tipu Sultan. These were armed rebellions and took place during the first part of 19th century. Among them, the rebellion led by Dondia Wagh is an important rebellion. Dondia was born in a Maratha family of Chennagiri. He was called the Wagh, the tiger, due to his bravery. In 1789 he started his career as a cavalry soldier in Hyder Ali's army and grew to the position of a military general. He built his own private army and fought along with Tipu Sultan. Due to differences with Tipu, he was imprisoned. The British released him from the prison after the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War. He built a small army and started his operations. He organized the army with the unhappy soldiers of Tipu's army and the feudatory rulers who had lost power. He captured Bidnur and Shivamogga forts and made unsuccessful attempt to capture Chitradurga fort. Lord Wellesley tried to check this rebellion. An attack was organized on Shivamogga, Honali, Harihara and other places under the control of Dondia. Dondia lost his base. After the capture of Shikaripura, Dondia ran away towards Gatti, which was under the control of the Nizam of Hyderabad. When the Nizam's army attacked Gatti, Dondia had to run towards the regions of the Marathas. The Maratha army attacked him and captured most of his horses, camels and arms. In spite of these, he continued his warfare. Many unhappy Paligas encouraged Dondia Wagh. The French at Mahe of Malabar also extended their support to him. The British army followed him in the vast area that included Harihara, Chitradurga, Shikaripura, Savanuru, Ranebennur, Kittur and Londa. The British who took over Shirhatti killed many followers of Dondia Wagh. End of Dondia Wagh, Lord Wellesley decided to end the adventures of Dondia Wagh. The British requested the help of local rulers. Dondia had recaptured Shikaripura fort and he was scattered by the British army again. The British tried to defeat the army of Dondia, which used to move in the area between Tungabhadra and Malaprabha. They attacked him from all the directions. He was followed by them when he left Raichur. When he was caught in between Maratha army and Nizam's army, the British attacked him near Yelapravi and killed him at Konagal. With the death of their leader, the followers of Dondia scattered. The British captured a large scale of arms and ammunitions. Rebellion of Kittur, brave Queen Chennamma, 1824. Chennamma. The British brought in many changes in the administration after defeating the Marathas, Tippu and Hyder Ali. Denying the right of adopted children over the throne was one of such rules. The rebellion led by Chennamma, the Queen of Kittur, opposing this law is a prominent one. Kittur lies between the Dharwad and Belgaum. After the death of her husband Malsraja, Chennamma, the Queen of Malsraja, took active interest in the administrative matters. After the death of Malsraja, his son Shivlingrudra took over the reign of Kittur. Due to his failing health, Chennamma had to take care of day-to-day administration. Shivlingasaja supported the British during the Maratha War. As a result, the British entered into an agreement with Kittur and collected payment from him. This agreement was entered into during the time of Thomas Munro. After the death of Shivlingrudra, Chennamma adopted a boy named Shivlingappa and started ruling Kittur as a queen regent. Then, Thackeray was the collector and political agent of the British in Dharwad. He sent a report to the governor of Bombay and attempted to take over Kittur kingdom under the doctrine of lapse policy. He attempted to take over the treasury and fort under his control. Chennamma considered war as inevitable. She prepared for the war. Meanwhile, the British also prepared themselves for the war. In the battle, Thackeray was shot dead. Many British were taken as the prisoners of war. The British attacked Kittur again under the leadership of Colonel Deak. The army fought the battle bravely. Chennamma attempted to flee from the battlefield, but she was captured by the British army. Chennamma and others were imprisoned at Bailahongala Fort. Queen Chennamma passed away in the prison. She has remained an ideal person till today. Sangoli Raina, 1829 to 1930. Sangoli Raina. The name of Sangoli Raina has remained famous along with the name of Rani Chennamma. Raina was a brave soldier. He fought for the independence of Kittur and felt it was his duty to liberate his motherland. He fought against the British and was imprisoned along with her. He was later released by the British. There are many oral histories about Raina. He developed a sense of nationalism and went on organizing an army. He organized secret meetings at sensitive places. He aimed at looting the treasury and taluk offices of the British. He had an army of 500 men. He became furious with the villagers who were assisting the British army. The British thought that Raina was being instigated by Rani Chennamma. Hence, they shifted Chennamma to Pusugal prison from Bailahongala. The British devised a cunning strategy to capture Raina. They encouraged Desais who were opposing Rani Chennamma. An Amladar named Kroshnaraya joined hands with them. Thus Raina was cunningly captured and brought down to Dharwad. Many of his soldiers surrendered after his arrest. He was declared as a main offender and was hanged to death at Nandagarh in 1831. Many ballads have kept the life and bravery of Raina alive even today. Rebellion of Amara Sulya. This rebellion was basically a farmers' rebellion. This rebellion needs to be understood in the backdrop of political situations prevalent in coastal Karnataka and Kodagu regions during 1835 to 1937. The British dethroned the ruler of Kodagu, Chikkavirajendra of Helleri dynasty, in 1834. He was later transferred to Vellore through Bangalore and later to Kashi. This incident created political instability in Kodagu. Swami Aprampura, Kalyana Swami and Puttapsappa organized a rebellion against this. All the three declared that they were part of the Helleri dynasty that ruled Kodagu. Swami Aprampura assumed the leadership of the rebellion. He was captured in 1834 and shifted to Bangalore. Similarly, Kalyana Swami was captured in 1837 and placed in Mysore prison. Puttapsappa, the people of Lower Kodagu continued the rebellion after the capture of Kalyana Swami. Sulya, Bellare and Puttur, the major places of Kannada region, were part of Amara Sulya. It is interesting to note that a farmer named Puttapsappa as Kalyana Swami. This Puttapsappa later presented himself as Swami Aprampura. This also notes the fluid nature of the rebellion. Puttapsappa took over the leadership of the rebellion. The rebellion started in the hilly region. Puttapsappa organized the rebels and calmed down the people. He declared that tax on tobacco and salt will be withdrawn if the rebel government assumed power. The rich farmers, landowners and local chieftains were assured of this move. The capture of the government office in Bellare was the first move in this rebellion. Puttapsappa killed an Amladhar who was known for his brutality. This further increased the popularity of Puttapsappa. This incident gained more support for the rebellion and the rebellion became more famous. The rebels marched towards Mangalore to capture it. The British were engaged in fortifying their fort in Mangalore. The rebels marched towards Mangalore through Panemangalore and Bantwal. They looted the treasury and prison of Bantwal. The British sought the army of Thalacheri, Kannanur and Bombay to quell this uprising. On hearing this development, Puttapsappa and his associated fled towards Sulya. The British captured them with the help of people in Kodagu. Puttapsappa, Lakshmappa, Bangarsa, Kedambadi Ramaya Govda and Gadamain Appaya were hanged to death. Though the rebellion failed, it has an important place in the history of rebellions against the British. Rebellion of Surpura and Koppal. Surpura is at 50 kilometers from the present-day Yadgir. This was an important place since the rule of Aurangzeb of Mughals. During the reign of the Nizam of Hyderabad and the Marathas, it became a vassal state. Later, most of the territory was lost and Surpura remained restricted to a smaller territory. During the reign of Venkatappa, it raised a rebellion against the British. Venkatappa Nayaka. Venkatappa came to the throne after the death of his father Krishna Nayaka. He was born in 1834 and came to the throne at early age. His ascendance to throne was opposed by Krishna Nayaka's brother Pednayaka. This resulted in internal struggles. The British interfered in the affairs of Surpura. In 1842, they appointed Meadows Taylor as their resident and gained proxy power over Surpura. Taylor was a reformist. He developed Surpura princely state. Pednaika was appointed as the Dewan of the state. Taylor conducted the land survey of the kingdom. The revenue of the state increased due to the measures implemented by Taylor. He took measures to educate Venkatappa Naika properly. He came to power in 1853. Rebellion of Surpura. The British government was observing the various developments of Surpura. In 1857, it came to the notice of government that the representatives of Nana Sahib were present in Surpura. This made the British suspicious of King's intentions. The British appointed an officer named Campbell to report on the various activities of the king. The officer submitted a report to the resident of Hyderabad that the king is involved in maladministration. Venkatappa Naika is usually presented as the leader of 1857 revolt in Karnataka by the historians. The British army captured Surpura in 1858. The war continued. There is confusion regarding Venkatappa Naika's end. Veerappa of Koppal rebellion is an important rebellion in the various armed rebellions against the British. Koppal and the surrounding regions were under the rule of the Nizam of Hyderabad. There were exploitations. This enraged a few zamindars who rebelled against the Nizam. Veerappa was an important person among the rebels. Veerappa, who was a zamindar, rebelled against the British and occupied the fort of Koppal and other forts in the vicinity. Many farmers and zamindars supported after realizing his motives. The British contacted the Nizam and employed their army to defeat Veerappa. Veerappa, who had lesser soldiers, died fighting the army of the British. The British captured back the fort of Koppal. Though this rebellion was a short-lived one, Veerappa proved himself to be a good warrior. Rebellion of Bedas of Halgali. Halgali is a small village of Mudhol Taluk of Belgaum district. This was part of the Mudhol Principality. In 1857, the British banned the usage of weapons. The Bedas, who always kept guns as part of their customs, were good hunters. They rebelled against the British when they were asked to surrender their firearms. The Bedas of Manturu, Budni, Algundi and neighbouring villages joined Halgali Bedas. The British army entered Halgali village to suppress the rebellion. They suppressed the Bedas in an inhuman way. All the rebels were hanged to death.